I am running for town supervisor of North Hempstead as a Democrat. And the reality is that the Democratic brand, the brand of the Democratic Party here in the United States of America and in New York and in Long Island and in North Hempstead is pretty darn broken right now. And so I have seriously considered running, in addition to running as a Democrat, on a third party line. But the decision to run on a third party line is complicated. I could potentially alienate Democrats. I could potentially alienate Republicans. I could potentially alienate everyone. And so that decision can't be made lightly. It needs to be made very, very thoughtfully and carefully and deliberately. But I'm ready to make that decision. My name is Dave Kirpin, and I am the candidate.
What does it really take to run for local office? On The Candidate, we're pulling back the curtain on the messy, expensive, and sometimes bizarre world of local politics. Join us as we share the unfiltered truth about what happens before you see those campaign signs pop up in your neighborhood. I'm your host, Jess Milanis. We're following serial entrepreneur Dave Kirpin as he dives headfirst into the world of local politics. Ready for a change in the world? This is your opportunity to be the candidate. Making the right hiring or rental decision isn't just important, it's essential. At AccuData, they provide fast, accurate, and compliant background screening services that help businesses, landlords, and property managers make informed choices with confidence. From criminal background checks to employment verification and credit reports, their comprehensive screenings ensure you hire and lease with peace of mind. And with their easy-to-use client portal, managing background checks has never been simpler. Trust the experts who put accuracy, compliance, and customer service first. Visit AccuDataHoldings.com today and start screening smarter. All right, final episode of season one.
Hopefully it's not the final season, Jess. We're just getting started.
I know. We have so much to talk about and do. Final episode of season one. We've been talking a lot about your identity in the past few episodes and the uncomfortable process of trying to fit into whatever talking points Democratic Party leaders have, or whatever projecting an image that leaders want you to have. And we've kind of teased the third party, but I want to know, how is it going? Like, have you finally made that decision? Yes, you are moving forward as a third party and a Democrat, or are you just kind of floating?
Yeah. So I'm a Democrat, and I'm embracing that. I'm a lifelong Democrat. There's going to be some people that can't stand that, but that is who I am. That is who I am. But I've also been very, very clear about this being not about, to me, not about a party. It's about who is the best leader to run the town, and it's about our visions, and it's about, the fact that I want to create more efficiency and help small businesses. And oh, by the way, I happen to be super, super pro-Israel. And these are all things that maybe are traditionally Republican, but still how I feel and who I am. So yes, I'm a Democrat, but yes, I also am running on making government more efficient and cutting taxes and being transparent and supporting small businesses. And the idea of running on a third party line is to give the message in no uncertain terms that I am a Democrat and I also stand for this, fill in the blank. So the short answer to your question, Jess, after talking with consultants, after really being very thoughtful and considerate about this challenge, and the other thing, there is a cost associated, right? It's not free to just come up with a new party. Like, you need to do a lot of filing and petitions and everything that you need to do on one of the big party lines, but basically on your own, right? So that's really, really hard. So all that said, I'm still going for it. I am going to run as a Democrat and on a third party line. And then the question becomes, what is the name of this third party? And I had a wonderful meeting with some really, really smart people today. You go ahead.
Oh, I was just about to say, I thought that you were going to align with an existing third party, but you're creating your own party, the Dave Kirpin party.
Jess, right, there's a few other parties. There's the Working Families Party, which is traditionally aligned with the Democrats and very, very liberal, and that's not me. So I support working families, but the Working Families Party is probably not the right party for me. There's the Conservative Party, which is traditionally very closely aligned with the Republican Party. And then beyond that, there really aren't established parties. So if we're talking about a second party beyond Democrats, you're typically talking working families. If you're talking about a second party beyond Republicans, you're typically talking about conservative. But no, we're going to create our own party here. And then the question becomes, what is a very succinct way to define that party in a way that really aligns with my values, doesn't alienate my core voters, doesn't alienate the Democrats, but maybe attracts some people that still haven't listened to the podcast, because let's face it, a few people in town might not have heard this podcast and don't necessarily know me. So a lot of people vote on the basis of the letter next to their name, whether it's a D or an R. So the point of a third party is to help draw a line in the sand about who I am.
Starting your morning with back-to-back meetings? Dunkin' has been keeping America's leaders moving for generations. Try our new brown sugar cookie cold brew, topped with brown sugar cold foam. Smooth, bold, and perfectly balanced. Pair it with a fresh baked croissant when you need that extra boost. Join DD Perks through the Dunkin' app or at Dunkin.com and start earning rewards on every purchase. The candidate runs on Dunkin'.
So I had a really great meeting with some very, very smart consultants, and they don't seem to be afraid of me naming them. So I'm going to name them because they're working hard for me. I'm not even paying them yet. That's a whole other thing, how consultants work and then get paid later. I don't know. But anyway, Isaac and Haley and Al, and they all feel very strongly about this third party thing. But we did like a whole brainstorm session, and
Strongly for or strongly?
They're for it. They are for it. They are all about recognizing the reality of the challenge that the Democrats face right now, and we can either deny it or we can embrace it and deal. And so I'm kind of like, let's embrace it and deal. So in addition to being a Democrat, I am going to run on this third party. Now, we haven't defined that third party yet. I'm not going to totally, I'm a poker player, Jess. And so as much as I love transparency, with respect to the very specific name of the third party, I'm not going to play my hand. I'm not going to tip my hand to the Republicans that are listening right now. But I'll say that we have a lot of different options that we're thinking about, ranging from options that really help to shine a light on my identity as a Jewish a resident that is extremely pro-Israel and cares very, very deeply about standing up for my rights and against anti-Semitism. We have ideas around being pro-business and an entrepreneur and really being focused on helping support small businesses. We have ideas around taking the tagline of Revive, Thrive, North Hempstead Comes Alive and putting that into party form. And we have some other ideas around maybe cutting taxes, for example, right? So what we settle in on, I think it's going to have to be a podcast cliffhanger, because I truly don't know, but it's going to be something that represents who I am, gives voters that are just getting to know me in the ballot booth another glimpse into who I am and what I stand for, and hopefully helps to make, my voter base more inclusive and wide enough to ultimately to win the race.
One of the things that you kind of talked about in giving a vague idea of what you might be going towards, it sounds like it's a lot of pro business, pro this, pro that. Is that a psychological tactic that you're using to say, I'm going to be pro this rather than anti that? And is that something that you're working with your consultants to identify?
I tend to think yes. I will say that a couple of the ideas were like the anti-Semitism, right? But the problem with the double negative is that it's confusing and it kind of doesn't inspire people. Whereas pro messages, I am like a crazy optimistic person. I am. And, I can see Republicans quoting me. He's crazy. He admitted to being crazy. No, but I am very, very optimistic at my core. While negativity can sway people and fear can definitely sway people and fear can definitely help win elections, that's not my style. So I think yeah, so the message will be pro something one way or the other.
Have you talked to the Democratic leaders about this in the county?
I have not, but that was one of the things that came up is that even if we're positioning ourselves as, quote, beyond Democrat, this is something that we do want Democratic leadership to approve of, bless, be okay with ultimately. It would be to create extra friction in an attempt to help to restore faith in the Democratic Party would be counterproductive. So the idea is, yes, help to define me and help to ultimately define Democrats more favorably by adding a third party. I want to make sure that Democratic leadership is ultimately cool with it. And if they said to me, like, absolutely not, we hate this idea, I would be open. You probably have already heard, or and certainly those that know me know that I as an executive, I don't do well with you need to do this and you should do this and you have to do this. But I'm here to build consensus and I'm here to build bridges, not tear them down. And to the extent that I want the Democratic Party to be on board with my vision for starting to, rescue is a bit too arrogant, so I won't say rescue the Democratic brand, but I'll say start to restore faith in the Democratic brand, at least here locally in North Hempstead. That's my goal.
Have you had any initial conversations with them?
Well, it depends what you mean by them. So, there's a lot of different leaders at different
That's
levels.
true. That's true. So
You
let's talk
know,
first about your running mate, Jason Liu.
yeah,
So is he going to be on this new ticket? And are
yeah.
you going to be thinking about like including some of his thoughts and beliefs on this new ticket,
Have
or
we
how is
talked?
that going to work?
So first of all, I'm excited that you brought up Jason. Have we talked? I guess we've talked about Jason on this.
I don't think that you know what, we have talked briefly about him.
Yeah, yeah. He wants to be on. So in season 2 of
He's coming on.
the
Yes.
candidate, I think we need to start having some guests on, Jessica, and I think we need to bring on Jason Liu. I think I have talked to Jason about it. I think he's on board with it, and I think the new party would probably have at least Jason and me. I can't speak for all the Democratic candidates running, and frankly, whatever it is, I would, as the head of that new party, I would screen every candidate to make sure that they're aligned with the beliefs of the party. Like if the party ended up being pro business and we had somebody that had no like Jason's an entrepreneur that owns a business, like that would be a good fit. But there might be a candidate that is anti-business out there that's running on the Democratic line like that. The pro business ticket wouldn't endorse that candidate, right? So I think that in order to establish credibility, we would I would absolutely not necessarily have a slate that's all the Dems running on the line. That would not make any sense to me, and frankly, it would be
Cheapen it.
see through. It would cheapen it. Yeah, it would make it a stunt, and it's not a stunt. It's an attempt to give voters a better sense for who I am and what I stand for, and who Jason is and what he stands for, and who anyone on that party is and what they stand for. And so along those lines, it would be extremely important to me to not have a necessarily a 1-to-1 ratio of Democratic candidates to people running on this line.
So when you create this party, we're looking just through the lens of this election, but creating a party in and of itself, like what are the ramifications of that? Can it go statewide? Can it go federally? Do you even know the answers to that?
The short answer is no, I don't know the answers, but the slightly longer answer is the entrepreneur in me gets really excited about scale and the idea that we could, really build a movement. I mean, it's no secret to probably anyone listening that there have been lots of attempts over the years for third parties at local, state, and federal levels, right? The most recently, the Andrew Yang and the Forward Party, I think of, and most of those, I don't know, 99% of those attempts have failed. So I would be remiss if I didn't say that the odds are highly, highly stacked against a third party ever growing to meaningful size. But all that said, the quote that I shared in my email this morning was from Margaret Mead about change only happens when a few people start. So yeah, the odds are stacked against a third party coming out of North Hempstead, New York, to launch a federal, presidential campaign in 12 years. But I've probably made a poker reference or two along, through the weeks. Sometimes you need one card in the river to come to hit your set and win the hand, and sometimes you hit that one card. It's called a one outer. 1 out of 52 chances. Sometimes it happens and then you win. So you never know, right? And certainly while my focus is only on this election for now, if we took the time and money and energy and volunteer power to create a third party, which it looks like we're going to do, I would want ideally that third party to have some staying power and maybe attract some other candidates in the future. Sure.
I love that. So when are we going to know what this new third party is going to be?
It's a good question, Jess. I guess y'all will have to just stay tuned for season 2 of The Candidate to find out. I mean, the truth is, I don't yet know. And while I'm about 99% certain that we'll go for it, there are constrictions in the real world, including time and money, and but I hope we'll get it done, and I hope and trust that whatever we come up with is something that's really going to resonate not only with me and my team, but ultimately with the voters here in town. And when we define voters the way we previously defined them, as anyone that wants to make an impact, the voters nationwide that are listening, that can vote with their wallets, that can vote with their social media posts. I hope that we can come up with something that really resonates with people, and that we can help start a movement together.
I love that. Well, thank you so much, everyone, for tuning in for season 1 of The Candidate. We are so happy that you have come along with us on this journey, and we will be back for season 2 in a couple weeks.
I'm grateful to you, Jess. So grateful to you for taking on this project and getting to know me over the last few weeks. And I'm so grateful to every single person that has listened, that has subscribed, that has shared, that has given us feedback. I am so excited about the last several weeks, and I'm even more excited about the weeks to come on this journey as The Candidate.
Thank you so much, Dave. Everyone's career path is different. Whether you're transitioning into public service or building your professional network, LinkedIn helps you make the right connections. Showcase your experience, discover new opportunities, and join conversations that matter in your industry. With LinkedIn Premium, you get insights about who's viewing your profile and advanced search filters to help find the right people. Start expanding your professional network today at linkedin.com. LinkedIn, connect to opportunity. Thanks for going behind the scenes with us on The Candidate. If you enjoyed getting the real story about running for office, take a moment to rate and review us wherever you get your podcasts. Your support means the world to us. See you next time.